Hello everyone. Today we've got a campaign known as the Waste Wars. It is set in the Galid Prime planet at outside Hive Sabarka. It is a campaign I've written up for the Lassever Crusade Group. If you're not a part of this group, you should definitely look them up and check them out. They're a great little online group for playing Crusade games and Crusade missions and setting up an ongoing narrative. And they've asked me to do today's quick campaign setup between genestealer cult and a Imperial Army of Faith. So for the background on this campaign, a lot of the fighting has been taking place in Hive Sabarka as the Imperial Army of Faith tries to cleanse the Hive, remain loyal, and launch its own crusade back of faith out across the galaxy, retaking things now that the Great Rift is opened. Various PDF and Imperial Guard forces have been successful alongside the Sisters of Battle in clearing the Hive. However, vicious fighting continues. Hive Sabarka houses a massive genestealer cult, and there is quite a bit of fighting going on there. It's a major engagement. Both sides are deadlocked, and each side is looking to break the deadlock at this point, with the main fighting taking place inside the Hive. After much prayer and reflection on intelligence gathered up by Imperial sources, from interrogations as well as just observations, the Imperial Army of Faith has determined that the genestealer cult is being supplied from outside the Hive, that genestealer cult forces are in the wastes, providing rat lines and infiltration routes to provide reinforcements and supplies to the cult currently contesting Hive Sabarka from the Imperials. With the fighting in the Hive absorbing most of the Imperial forces, the Imperial High Command decided to send out small detachments in an effort to interdict and stop these infiltration routes and supply points and rat lines, and thus starve the genestealer cult from outside support. In order to play the Waste Wars campaign, you're going to need a copy of the main rulebook along with the Wars of Faith expansion Crusade mission pack in order to play this short 4-game mini campaign. The Waste Wars takes place in the ash hive surrounding Hive Sabarka, so it would help if you set up the appropriate terrain. A lot of the Necromunda, ash waste terrain, and nomad terrain would be perfect for the purposes of running this campaign. And while we are presenting the Waste Wars campaign here as an Army of Faith versus a genestealer cult, it could very easily be any Imperial faction versus a genestealer cult, or any Imperial faction versus a Chaos army that is infiltrating and sending people into a hive to subvert it. It could also be done up as an Eldari versus a genestealer cult, with them not wanting to alert the humans that they do not want the Tyranids to gain control in the sector, or Eldari versus Chaos that are trying to infiltrate into the main hive. You can also run this as a scenario where the Imperium is going out trying to clear out these rat lines and they run into Necrons, and the Necrons are the defenders, and you can run this campaign a number of different ways. It is a generic plug-and-play campaign, and don't feel constrained to using just genestealer cult and an Imperial Army of Faith. You can run it any number of ways. And without any further ado, I'm going to go over briefly how the campaign's laid out and let you see how the campaign plays. Here are the missions for the Waste Wars campaign. The first mission is Covert Engagement. It's a combat patrol mission from the Wars of Faith mission pack. You then go on to Sweep and Clear. It's a combat patrol mission from the main rulebook, followed by Reconsecration, a combat patrol mission from the Wars of Faith book. These first 3 engagements, Covert Engagement and Reconsecration, they're about also not only just pushing your opponent aside, but also setting up churches and stations within the wastes in order to attract followers and decrease the ability of your opponent to have followers and interdict their infiltration routes, and rat lines. Now, the winner, best 2 out of 3 of those first 3 missions, gets to be the attacker in the final scenario, which is Assassinate. It's a combat patrol mission found in the main rulebook, and when you play that mission, your whole goal is just to assassinate the main enemy leader who's running the rat lines and infiltration routes into Hive Sabarka. Now, the one thing I've added special for the Lassever Crusade is the following. Veteran infantry units from an army victorious in the Waste Wars may take the following battle trait upgrade if eligible. So if you have a unit that gets blooded and is capable of taking a battle trait, and your army has won a game in the Waste Wars, you can take the following. Infiltrators. The unit may make a pre-game scout move, but must end up 9 inches away from any enemy models by the end of this move. It's just a basic scout move, that's all it is, but it's an infiltration thing, and it's a nice little badge for having been part of the Waste Wars. This is a very quick campaign, little mini campaign set inside a larger campaign. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please hit like and subscribe down below. And again, go on over and check out the Lassever Crusade Group. It is a wonderful online community set for Crusade, with a generic Crusade system, sandbox system in place for people to play on and just enjoy. And they've asked me to make this video, and I was more than happy to do so. So again, I'd like to thank them for the opportunity to make this video for them. I hope this is what they wanted, and I hope you've enjoyed this video as well. Thank you, and have a good day.